All right, we're doing a viewer request on this one, okay? We're doing a fucking viewer request. I got this shit thrown in on my,
Greetings and...
Does this have no video? Oh, is this just audio? Oh, this guy's lazy, just like me. Oh, no. We'll see if we can do this. Listen, this was suggested to me on my subreddit. Censorship is not the answer to Christchurch. It's the problem. Let's find out. Let's find out. And if this ends up being boring, I'm just going to skip through it, ramble incoherently, and then we'll go to the fucking John Doyle video that we're all begging for.
Salutations, friends. We are unfortunately going to have to talk a little bit about the Christchurch terror attack.
Why does every fucking Warhammer person I see on YouTube talk like this? I'm a fan of an edgy, grimdark tabletop game. Listen to my opinions. In Warhammer 40k, I would, of course, be an Inquisitor, or perhaps a Commissar. I have the natural charisma necessary to lead my... I'm being very fucking uncharitable right out the bat. Let's get this going.
Because I feel that the industry's response to it and...
I can't do it! Did he just roll his R when he said response? I'm gonna fuck... I can't do it. I can't do it. Oh, shit. Fuck! We need a cringe emote. We need to improve on haha. We need to get me going like... I don't even know how to do the cringe face. We need to get that, and I like Photoshop it to like blow it up a little bit or something. We need a dedicated fucking cringe emote. Okay. God willing. A huge fan of Arch Warhammer on his lore stuff, but his politics are pretty yikesy. I don't doubt it. A lot of Warhammer fans are fucking trash heaps. Let's give this a shot.
Company's response in particular deserve mentioning and discussion. Now, I'm going to do this in the old style because I'm going to have to choose my words somewhat carefully here to make sure there is no misunderstanding. Because this is a very...
misunderstanding. Maybe we can just spend this video making fun of the stupid fucking dialect this guy is putting on. Nobody talks like this, okay? Nobody talks like this. I have talked to plenty of fucking Australians. I have talked to British people. I have talked to Scots. I have talked to the Irish. I have talked to Welsh people. I have talked to fucking Londoners. I have talked to Northern English and Southern English people. I have talked to Kiwis. I have talked to people who share this dialect. And this is not how they speak.
Very delicate subject, ably demonstrated by the fact that in New Zealand an 18-year-old man is currently charged for distributing the video of the shooting. He has been denied bail and he faces 14 years in prison, merely for sharing the video.
Okay. Yeah, look, you've got it right down here. The teen faces 2 charges, one of sharing the live stream and a second for posting a photograph of one of the mosques attacked with the message "target acquired," along with other messages inciting extreme violence. Does this not clearly implicate that he was aware of the attack as it took place and that he was complicit in its having taken place? Yeah, if he wrote Tiger Acquired, yeah, fuck this kid. This isn't censorship. I could find the fucking video of the thing and put it up on Facebook or something, and though it would definitely violate their fucking community guidelines and it would get taken down, nobody would charge me with anything. And the reason for that is because I am not one of the people complicit in enabling this fucking terrorist attack. It sounds like this kid is.
He was not involved in any other way, he simply just posted a video link.
He was not involved in any other way, he just posted a video link while throwing up. While in your own video, posting a clip from a news article that clearly implicates him in having been involved in the participation of the shooting, of having not reported it beforehand, of having enabled it, of having supported it. Jesus Christ, if this guy had been just a little bit smarter, he could have clipped it so that it stopped right here at "he will appear in court again in April," and I wouldn't have fucking known. I would have had to like Google the news article and seen if he was cherry picking. But thanks to this idiot's fucking inability to curtail his own lies, I don't even have to do that.
So, I will be trying to cover my bases here a wee.
Here. It's against TOS to threaten to kill myself. What motivates people to act and talk like this? Nobody does this shit.
Bit. I will also leave the video unmonetized, so if you see ads on the video, please do let me know, and I will try to correct it.
Correct it.
So, the general situation appears to be that several companies are pulling their advertisements from several platforms that they feel did not act swiftly or comprehensively enough to remove the video of the shooting and the shooter's manifesto from their platforms.
I don't know what to say. That's freedom of speech. Corporations have the ability to decide where they want their sponsorships and advertisements to go. That has nothing to do with censorship, my duder.
This has resulted in companies like Burger King, ASB, Spark, and several other companies pulling their advertisement from platforms like Google and Facebook. Now, in my opinion, these companies appear to have done everything they can to limit access to these things. Facebook alone has removed millions of mentions of the video, and I do not think it reasonable to claim that these platforms need to do more, as I think they're already doing everything within their power, even overreaching a fair bit, even removing edited videos that did not show graphic content.
Wait, overreaching? Again, I'm gonna assume because this guy is definitely a chud that he supports the free market. Does he not think that private companies should have the ability to curtail content they don't want to see on their platform? Maybe they don't want to be known as the platform people go to watch the terrorist attack. That makes sense to me. There are other platforms that will host these things. I don't see any problem here.
Videos that are, of course, also being used right now by mainstream media sources. And of course, the censorship does not limit itself to the removal of the
None of that was censorship. He has yet to provide a single example of censorship.
manifesto and the videos of the shooting itself. Many companies have also promised additional measures, like, for example, Discount Domains, a New Zealand-based company that has announced that they will have a zero-tolerance policy for anything that is related to the terrorist attack, and will take down domain and websites without warning. And they will do this to ensure that their customers are aligned with them on grounds of moral and social responsibility.
Moral and social responsibility. Listen, I understand that I'm verbose and I take forever to say anything, but imagine being this fucking guy, and just imagine being this human being and taking this long into the video to say, I'm mad that businesses take down video. I'm mad. I'm upset.
To sum it all up,
yeah, this guy's voice is an act of violence. If this guy gets shot in the street, it's probably an act of defensive violence right here, because he is committing violence against my earlobes by speaking in this bullshit fake posh accent. What a...
that he shouldn't take on the role, so, yeah. And virtuous, friendly, and kind in diplomacy, doing any good to him or his friends, greatly improved diplomatic relations.
Look, guys! He's talking normally now, in this fucking nerd game video.
Always releases captives. Okay, cool. So that is nice, I like that. So,
look, guys, he's actually talking like a human being here. Holy shit. What? So is this his is this like his linguistic equivalent of putting on your Sunday best? Ooh, gotta. I've got to impress the viewers with this one. Better wear my bow tie and roll the R's at the beginning of my words. What a fucking prick. This is why I fucking hate I hate non-Americans. Jesus Christ. For all the shit Americans do, at least we don't get, like, faux fucking credibility online with our YouTube videos for having stupid accents. The way this dipshit and Sargon of Akkad do. Fucking Paul Joseph Watson.
Up a bit quickly and nicely. There is a lot of people and a lot of companies reacting very violently to anything that is related to the terrorist incident.
What violence? Tell me what violence.
Another example would be Discord.
I've got to speed this guy up.
Which is flat out deleting servers that have even hosted mere discussion of the incident.
My server has discussed the incident. Something tells me the Discord servers that Discord has banned were not discussing the incident so much as they were celebrating the incident. Discord does not... What?
Sorry, I'm just gonna make food, so sorry if I'm loud.
No worries. Discord does not fucking just randomly delete servers because someone in there said, hey, we should talk about the shooting. This sucks, right? That is not what took place, my friendo.
Tempers are clearly running quite hot all across the internet, but it is precisely during these times that we need to have a cool head and actually look at what we are trying to do and the potential ramifications and meanings of those things. And to help me illustrate my point here, I'm going to show you an article from...
Those things. Of those things. The potential meanings and ramifications. Those things.
From gamesindustry.biz titled Community Management Post-Christchurch Massacre Opinion. Now, this is, of course, an opinion piece by a veteran product manager named James Kozanitsky, who's currently working for Wargaming. Now, of course, I'm sure that he is an entirely decent individual, but I will nevertheless use his article to exemplify what I mean, the potential problems with the kind of overreach and how many people might direct their anger in places where it simply should not be directed. So, James here is of the opinion that it is time to crack down on toxic behavior and trolling because of the Christchurch shooting. Now, you might wonder, how exactly do we go from a terrorist attack to toxic behavior and trolling on the internet?
I don't know. We literally just watched a 2 million view Joe Rogan clip where he took the mass shooting and used it as an excuse to talk about trolling on the internet. I didn't plan this, folks. We literally just watched the Joe Rogan video to that effect, where he fucking mentions the New Zealand shooting and then goes off on trolling. There was clearly some kind of tangential relationship between these two things here, like maybe the fact that reactionaries use trolling as a smokescreen for their legitimately bigoted values. This is a well-demonstrated phenomena, or as this guy would pronounce it, phenomena.
And apparently, James thinks it is because the shooter's beliefs were shaped on the internet. Quoting, in the alleged terrorist manifesto, he talks about a variety of political topics, but it is his shitposting and regular dropping of memes which stands out the most. Clearly, internet culture has played a role in shaping his beliefs. End quote. Now, the problem with this sentence is that it assumes a lot of things. First and foremost, it takes all of the various memes and shitposting in the manifesto at face value. And
it's just a fucking troll, my dudes. I mean, I don't know, like, he spent years being motivated by white nationalists and reactionaries online. He was radicalized through Pol, fucking 4chan, 8chan. He talked about him fucking losing his shit and crying because he saw brown people going in and out of a grocery store. He targeted a mosque. He subscribed to the Great Replacement Theory, a conspiracy theory pushed by alt-right figures online. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm sorry. I guess you're right. I took that at face value. I took the fact that he was a white nationalist at face value because he said he was a white nationalist and then provided proof that he's been one for a while, and then he did a thing that was white nationalist. I guess it was, maybe it all could have been trolls. Maybe this is a deep state fucking operative, a fucking deep plant FBI agent, who not only did they write a 78-page manifesto that detailed in explicit detail how they were motivated by white nationalists and white nationalist thought, but maybe they also made up the fact that he has fucking long-term social media posting habits that are dunking on Islam and reneging white nationalist talking points. I don't know. You're right. It could all just be a meme.
Thinks that this is what forms the fundamental belief of the shooter, despite the fact that the shooter actually lays out his ideology and his reasoning quite clearly in the manifesto, and even specifically denies that the internet was what radicalized him.
But then he cites Candace Owens as one of the motivating factors for what fucking radicalized him. He posted his fucking pre-shooting little flex post on Poll. The internet was clearly a motivating factor, and the fact that he threw up a guise of ironic shitposting to sort of mask or at least cohabilitate with his unironic white nationalism is an indication that internet culture had an influence as to what he believes.
He himself states that he was radicalized during his travels in Europe, where he saw what he perceived to be the problem that made him think that his extreme actions were justified and the only solution. Now, I hasten to clarify that this is in no way, shape, or form my opinions. I do not condone his actions in any way, shape, or form.
I do not condone his actions in any way, shape, or form. You notice how left-leaning people never have to say this? When I made the video on the mass shooting, and I made a video on the mass shooting, it was a big video, I read his manifesto, I talked about it for 3 hours. At no point did I have to throw my hands up and say, hey, just so you guys know, I don't support that. Because it's pretty clear. I disavow. Hey, if you're talking about a white nationalist terrorist attack, the worst terrorist attack in New Zealand's history, an incident in which 49 people died for explicitly racial and religious purposes, maybe the fact that you have to disavow is an indication that you are uncomfortably close to the ideology you are discussing. Vosh video, this is so dumb. Can you watch something where the arguments are not this stupid? They're all this stupid. All reactionaries are either stupid or dishonest or both. We are never going to find like the mythical conservative who has good arguments. It's never going to happen. They have power, but not reason.
Or whatsoever, but I do not think we can simply dismiss him when he says, no, I was not radicalized on the internet. In fact, I am now going to tell you why and how I was radicalized. And whilst, of course, we should take anything he says with a grain of salt, let me put it like this. If you had the choice to believe whether or not he was radicalized because he traveled through Europe and saw what he perceived to be great, and in many cases, unfortunately, real and existing problems with...
Holy shit, this guy's on the fucking reactionary train too, for sure. This guy might be a white nationalist. He's literally like, hey, you shouldn't take everything in the manifesto at face value. Oh, but he said he wasn't radicalized on the internet. Take that at face value. Maybe he was actually radicalized by traveling through Europe and seeing these mud slime Islam shitheads fucking raping our culture and burning our cities down with their migrant caravans. Like, holy shit. The fucking train of logic here is so direct. He's gonna say it. He's gonna say the N-word. He's a full-on Nazi. Yeah, he's a full-on fucking Nazi. He's literally like, hey, listen, I disavow this, but maybe he's right. Maybe he wasn't radicalized by the internet and meme culture. Maybe he was radicalized by the way that Islam is raping Europe.
Mass immigration, or that he was radicalized via meme culture on the internet. Well, I certainly know which one I think is more plausible.
See, he's literally like, what do you think is more likely? That the shooter was motivated by radicalization on the internet, or that he was motivated by the real and existing damage Islam is doing to Western society? This guy's fucking dog whistling. This is the loudest dog whistle I've ever heard. I could pick this up at a fucking AM radio. Holy shit.
But clearly the author of this article is of a different opinion. He says, again, quoting, the days of ignorantly being able to claim, oh, it's just a meme, it's harmless, are over, end quote. Again, it is just a meme. You should not allow the terrorist to tell you what you want to hear. Clearly, this person is already of the opinion that toxic behavior is bad. He also refers to Gamergate.
Clearly, this guy is already of the opinion that toxic behavior is bad.
As an organized harassment campaign, for example. He also says the
Wait, did we just invoke Gamergate?
Toxic behavior is bad. He also refers to Gamergate 8 as an organized harassment campaign, for example. He also says the
This guy would be a fucking Gamergator.
following, quote, we set the tone. We decide what is and isn't acceptable. We decide how to deal with this problem before it spreads through the community and into the real world, end quote. The author clearly sees it as his moral responsibility to censor, guide, and control the conversation.
Censor, guide, and control. Jesus Christ, fuck this guy. Oh my fucking god. We set the tone. We decide what is and isn't acceptable. Censorship, controlling. No, he means that as a community, we decide what is and isn't acceptable. We should try to make our community better. Imagine, you could say, like, this is just the most, blatantly reactionary interpretation of the values being present here, because this guy could be talking about like racism, like, hey, on Reddit there's imagine, okay, on fucking Reddit there's a bunch of racism. Sometimes a black person will post and then a white person will be like, haha, hey, what's up, black guy? Haha, you're stinky because you're black. That shit sucks. We as a community should decide what is and isn't acceptable, how we should deal with this problem before it affects the real world. And this guy would look at this and go,
the author clearly sees it as his moral responsibility to censor, guide, and control the conversation in a way that fits his own moral sensibilities.
This is... yeah. You want to improve your community? Heh! Nice censorship, libtard.
Ironically, once again, the Shooter's Manifesto seems to quite clearly suggest that this is exactly one of the problems that radicalized him in the first place.
Literally, ironically, your desire to make the internet less shitty is one of the reasons that this guy... Oh, fuck! Okay, this guy is wrong on so many levels. So not only is this guy, once again, saying the Shooter was right, by saying, like, maybe the Shooter was radicalized by you fucking libtard censoring, but you know what that guy was referring to? That guy was talking about cultivating the internet communities. This guy, this dipshit, this fucking white nationalist, is now saying that, hey, the Shooter wasn't motivated, the Shooter was not radicalized by the internet, but maybe he was radicalized by you trying to do stuff on the internet. He's wrong, unlike okay. I have officially reached the conclusion this person is a Nazi. I'm not being hyperbolic with that. The arguments they're positing here are the exact arguments I would expect a white nationalist trying to hide their power level. But you couldn't hide it very well, could you? Because you're a fucking idiot. You are stupid. Your brain is very small. And you couldn't hide it from me. Amazing. Amazing! Amazing! Incredible to me how stupid your average fucking Nazi is. Not only can they not make coherent points that are logically consistent, believe it or not, guys, I'm capable of talking for 13 consecutive minutes, especially when I slow down my speech and roll the R's. Believe it or not, I can speak for 13 minutes on something without accidentally repeating white nationalist talking points or blatantly contradicting a point that I had made earlier. It's actually super fucking easy for me. But, I don't know, maybe I'm just gifted. I don't have the fucking Nazi tumor on my brain.
Seeing problems as he traveled across the world with his own eyes, and then seeing the mainstream media and various communities, quote-unquote, simply ignoring and or actively censoring any discussion about the problem.
The Shooter wasn't motivated by radicalization on the internet. He was motivated by traveling through Europe and watching Islam rape Western civilization. And maybe he was also radicalized by seeing you on the internet censoring him when he says that we should take a look at Islam and what it's doing to Western civilization, and maybe we should do something about it.
And surely we cannot deny that that is actually happening. Indeed, further on in the article, we get a wonderful example of just that. Quoting yet again, setting stricter rules and actively enforcing them without fear of how it will impact the bottom line will probably cost organization, players, readers, but the social responsibility we have as custodians of online communities demands it. End quote. Once again, reinforcing his own belief that he is responsible for this.
Yeah, everyone feels responsible for making a community around them like better. Like that's everyone's responsibility. Nazis try to make Nazi platforms more Nazi. Nazis infiltrate left-leaning platforms to try and make them more Nazi. Left-leaning people do the same. Centrists do the same dumb shit. Centrists will go into fucking left-leaning platforms and go, oh, censorship, oh, fucking SJW libcucks, why can't we go to both sides? And then centrists will go over to a right-leaning platform and go, hey, maybe tone it down a little bit, huh? Everyone, literally everyone does this. This fake outrage, this snowflake fucking faux moralizing is the most pathetic excuse I have seen, like the most pathetic attempt I have seen to to dismiss the efforts of people trying to like improve online communities.
It is his job to prevent these people from speaking in the way they choose, or from spreading the dangerous memes as he sees them.
Yeah, that's what moderation is. That is actually the definition of moderation.
Another quote. I've seen numerous brands play down or ignore antisocial behavior of key community members due to their financial or social importance to the business. Oh, it's just a racial slur or homophobic remark, they say, as they attempt to reform a toxic player and keep them as a customer, yet again, rather than send them away. End quote. Now, the thing is, I am sure that he has some examples of this, but we have seen time and time and time again, both in gaming, in movies, and in various medias, corporations lashing out violently against their fan base over what they perceive to be toxic behavior.
There are so many people in public media who have had allegations or scandals dug up in their past who are nonetheless quite allowed on their platforms. This happens all the time. Just because you can throw together fucking 5 or 10 examples of popular incidents over the past couple years of people getting slapped on the wrist for being openly bigoted does not mean that there is not a broader problem of corporations prioritizing the profit motive, as they always will, over curtailing their community. Sorry, my dude. Facts do not care about your feelings.
So I do not think that his version of events here, that this is a constant, and that all companies are worried about this and just excuse it, is true. In fact, I think the exact opposite is true. I think that it is the very treatment of these people as potential criminals.
He's not, the links he's citing don't even support his fucking topics. Look at this. Let's look over these, okay? Because the thing he's saying now is that people do get punished. Corporations do not prioritize profit motive over like disciplining toxic people in their community. So let's look at the actual headlines.
I am sure that he has some examples of this, but we have seen time and...
So we have XQC being banned for 15 days for being pretty debatably homophobic, I think, you know, to another person, to like the gay player in Pro Overwatch. 15 days, okay, boohoo.
Time and time again, both in gaming, in movies, and in various medias.
Giletti's little video ad had literally nothing to do with prioritizing profit motive over disciplining people or the revert. This is he's just finding like the topics he's really upset about. He's just really outraged about these headlines, and he's just throwing them up there, even if they have nothing to do with people being punished for toxicity when it doesn't pertain to profit.
Corporations are lashing out violently against their fan base over what they...
This has literally nothing to do with what he's saying. He's just finding all the anti-SJW headlines. He's just pulling them out there. Oh, maybe we can throw in a couple Ben Shapiro Pones libtards in here. I mean, why not, right? I mean, that's every bit as cohesive as the arguments he's throwing out now.
They perceive to be toxic behavior. So I do not think that his...
Nothing to do with what he's saying. Nothing to do with what he's saying. He's posted one article so far out of, I think, the 5 headlines that he's shown here, and only one of them indicated the point he's trying to make, and in that one, it was a 15-day ban.
A constant, and that all the companies are worried about this and just excuse it is true.
Nothing
in fact,
to do.
I think the exact opposite is true.
This is the only other one that could be conceivably accused of being an example of corporations prioritizing banning toxic behavior over profitability. But even then, for this specific example, you would have to ask whether or not they were still doing this for the profit motive, because they knew they would benefit in the long term from discluding these people. Also, what does toxicity mean? Are we talking about violent, like racism and sexism? Are we talking about hacking? Are we talking about deliberately throwing matches, like intentionally feeding? Are we talking about like repeated verbal abuse that would trigger a fucking ban on literally any platform? We don't know. And of course, this guy's just like throwing out these poorly cropped fucking snippets of news articles. That's all this guy has to throw out at us.
I think that it is the very treatment of these people as potential criminals.
What was that? You skipped by that one pretty quickly.
I think that it is the very
Oh, just a random news article that's just like one editorial from one woman that has literally nothing to do with corporations and the profit motive. That's cool. Yeah, bring him in. Yeah, bring him in. Oh, bring him in. Wargaming threatened first Surfog for criticizing World of Tanks. Cool. What the fuck does that for criticizing a game? What the fuck does that have to do with what we're talking about here?
Toxic and unwanted members of communities that is causing.
Again, nothing. The fact Riot Games fucking devs have been shown to be pretty fucking sexist. There are a bunch of people talking about how these fucking devs are super sexist. The fact that they're still up there being the developers of a massive fucking game like League of Legends suggests to me perhaps that corporations are more interested in the profit motive than they are in curtailing a non-toxic workplace and community base.
Their feeling of isolation, of alienation. And when you isolate and alienate someone,
So they're literally saying, by banning these by the way, listen to the argument he's making in the background. When you ban these toxic men, they're going to get angry, and that's what makes them shoot places up.
And you tell them over and over again, you are a problem, you are evil, you are bad, you are the
biggest terror threat in this country is white men. Hey, that's statistically true, you dumb fuck. You fucking degenerate, brainlet pieces of shit. Statistically speaking, that's completely fucking true. Islamic terror has nothing on fucking white male terror in this country. Always conservative, too. I'm sorry. You're so mad. You're so fucking upset. You can't handle it. You can't handle the Nazis being told that they can't tell you to kill the Jews in the Overwatch lobby. I'm sorry. It sucks. I know that the censorship has affected you so heavily. But actually go fuck yourself. Fucking literally, this guy wasn't radicalized on the internet. He was radicalized by how Muslims are raping Western culture. But maybe he was radicalized on the internet. And if he was radicalized on the internet, it was because of SJWs banning him from Overwatch. Oh man, this guy, can anyone think of a cool way for me to like say people need to die? Without violating TOS. Okay, I'll say this. If this person's fucking debilitating, cancerous, neo-Nazism, whatever tumor in their brain, metastasizes, consumes all of their fucking pink matter, and they die twitching, moaning, and screaming in the fucking floor of their basement, and no one hears about it until 3 days later when the smell starts to alert the neighbors, I would celebrate this. This would be something that I personally am well and truly okay with. Oh, egg? Oh yeah, maybe egg would have been better. Okay.
the problem, you are evil, you are bad. Eventually they
get lost in a forest. That's actually a pretty good one. I actually like that. Egg and get lost in a forest. Okay. The soullessness of straight white men. I like this. The soullessness of straight white men. Oh, you know this guy got mad. You know this guy just got off of getting really fucking mad on Twitter. Oh, he's so fucking angry. And then he goes on and he sees this article that somebody linked him, one of his dipshit fucking Discord server peeps probably. And he saw that. I have a soul, he says minutes before typing a screed on how censorship shouldn't be implemented to disencourage Nazis from infiltrating online spaces.
They might actually come to believe that you are correct. And of course, he goes on to suggest just that, quoting, "Further, we shouldn't be afraid of taking permanent steps to eliminate inflammatory members from our community."
Yeah, like banning people? Oh no. It's the censorship. Are we going to engage in basic moderation that has been a thing for as long as community forums have existed? Even before the fucking internet, you could do things to get banned from community spaces. Even when the community space was the shit-smeared fucking town square back in the 1400s, and the closest thing we had to Twitter was running to the center of the square, cupping your hands to your mouth, and screaming about the Moors coming to attack. Even then, I'm pretty sure you could do things that would get your local fucking lord's soldiers to give you a bap on the head and removed from the public space, okay? There has always been censorship if censorship means banning people from public spaces.
End quote. Suggesting just that exact type of isolation over toxic behavior and memes. But of course, all of this is nothing new, is it? This has happened before, time and time and time again. There are so many examples of this, I could probably make a list and keep writing pretty much the whole goddamn day.
Please, give me a single fucking list that reinforces any of the points that you're making, because you have failed utterly. Hey, isn't it incredible that we're running this video at 1.75 speed, and only at this speed is this guy's voice even remotely tolerable? Jesus fucking Christ, what a pretentious cunt.
This is normal now. This is the norm. And guess what? Again, in the Shooter's Manifesto, he apparently counted upon his actions further increasing the divide. He wanted to further radicalize society. He wanted to further split society between the people.
Yeah. All shootings are going to do that. If a white nationalist shoots up a fucking mosque, society will be split between people who don't like it when white nationalists split up mosques and people who either do or aren't going to criticize the people who do. That's the fucking split. That's what we're seeing. So when I hear about a New Zealand church shooting, I think about how the very academically backed, scholarly articles that I have read about how white nationalism has been festering online and contributes substantially to the rise in terror we've been seeing. And this guy gets really fucking mad about how he wasn't radicalized by the internet, but maybe he actually was, and it was actually because of SJWs, it was actually because Muslims are fucking terrible, and I'm not saying that I think the shooting was good, but maybe he had the right idea, and maybe if it weren't for SJW censoring us in public spaces, maybe if it weren't for the Overwatch bans, maybe if it weren't for the fact that community members in public forums can moderate, maybe if it weren't for moderation as a concept, if we could only go back in time, fucking 18,000 years ago and assassinate the person who invented the war that would later be translated in the Old English dialect to moderation, maybe then there wouldn't be terrorist shootings, but we would still have the fucking Muslim invasion of Europe to think about, wouldn't we? And the SJWs, I just want to get rid of these shootings. I care so much. It was horrible, disgusting, toxic, unacceptable, the shooting, but why are they charging the kid who said target acquired and collaborated with the shooter to spread his message? Get lost in a fucking forest, my friend.
People like the author here, who believes it is his social and moral responsibility to police his community and remove what he considers
social and moral responsibility to police his community with his feelings
to be inflammatory elements, once again, to increase the divide. The shooter wanted to divide society between those who considered themselves unequivocally just and those who they considered to be unequivocally evil. And so, presumably without knowing so at all, James here is playing right into the terrorists' hands.
Unbelievable. Incredible. By saying we should moderate communities to disincline white nationalists from being able to infiltrate our public spaces, you're actually playing right into their hands. Says the fucking... Come on. Give me the image I'm looking for. Where's the image of the guy and he's got the normal mask on? He's got like the normal face mask on. Come on. Nah, come on. Ah, come on, I've seen this image so many times. It's like the hello friend, and he's wearing a mask that says totally normal person, but he's got the swastika armband on. I know the reason there's nobody in chat right now, because they're all looking for the same fucking image. I'm not stopping until I find it. Not having his own reaction folder? Yeah, never really been my shindig. Yeah, it's like this, but he's wearing the fucking armband. Okay, I don't care anymore. So anyway, back to listening to this fucking Nazi tell me why the Nazis are winning if we ban the Nazis from their space. Let's keep going. Found it? This is the opposite of what I was looking for, actually. Am I being called out here? Yeah, probably. This is the opposite. This is the fake SJW. What the fuck do you... Jesus Christ. Back to this shit. Look closer at mine? Ah, yeah, okay. Yeah, basically. But there's a better one. There's a better one. No, never mind. I don't care anymore, okay? Every time I click a link, I'm fucking running the risk of porn. Vosh is the standard hipster? Nah, maybe. I don't care. Whatever. You know what? Most hipsters have nowhere near my leftist power level, okay? That's where I shine.
He's handing him the very thing he wants the most. Further polarization.
We're pretty much done with the content of this video, because this video went all over the place. It contradicted itself a number of times, and the person here is basically just playing into the narrative or directly reinforcing the narrative of white nationalists. So fuck this guy, fuck him, egg him. He can take a walk in the forest. I'll be publishing this on YouTube and directly fucking tagging him. And I do sincerely hope at least one person who likes his videos searches him, finds me, and has a grand old time. Just so we can, just so we can milk it a little bit more. Let's
of society, and ask yourself, will this help? Will this gain us anything? Will kicking out and further isolating those we already shun, already try to isolate, already attack, will further attacks upon them...
Wait. So isolating and shunning people who are already isolated and shunned? He can't say Nazi either. He can't do it. He can't say Nazi or white nationalist or anything. He probably thinks the New Zealand shooter was actually a leftist. He'll argue, in favor of white nationalist policy, but then but he's actually a leftist, guys. And now he's saying hey, we already shunned them, but not really. So stop shunning them. Again, totally not a Nazi. Hey guys, the Nazis are winning when you fight against the Nazis.
Make them think better of us? Will it de-radicalize them?
We're not interested in de-radicalizing Nazis, and we're not interested in getting them to think better of us. They already support a genocidal ideology. The goal is to bully them, to crush them, to remove them from society, and to engage in violence when necessary. Not only because they deserve it, but because these are effective tactics for getting rid of Nazis. Hitler said this himself. Hitler... Where's the quote? The only thing that could have stopped us if our adversaries had, from its first day, smashed with the utmost brutality the nucleus of our movement. From the babe's mouth himself, the goal here is not to change minds.
Or will it push them yet further into the hands of men like the shooter? I think the answer to that question is pretty obvious. Okay. That was some heavy shit, but I felt a real need...
Alright, that's enough. Fuck you, cunt.